Hey, it's Anya. I want to show you how I choose veils for double veil. I love doing double veil. It's really open and extended. It's super dynamic and dramatic. But it does take using certain kinds of veils to really have the best effect. So when most people do double veil, they usually use some kind of circle or half or semicircular veil. That's what I use. But not all half circle or semicircular veils are the same. So this veil is more like a half circle. If you were to lay this out flat on the ground, you would see that its shape is very even and very semicircular. And so this kind of veil has, or this kind of shape usually has less fabric, and that makes it a little easier to control when you're doing double veil, because a lot of times when we're doing double veil, we really only have one hand on each veil. So when there's less fabric, that is easier to deal with. So that being said, there are other shapes and sizes that also work for double veil. So this is the same kind of fabric as the previous one, but this shape is more of a rectangle that has had two lower corners rounded off. So it's longer, there's more fabric, and if you were to lay this one out on the ground, you would see it has more of a long flat edge in the middle with those two curved edges at the corners. So I use these as well for double veil. They take a little more practice than the shape that's a little more like a half circle, but I think it's also very dramatic to have all of that extra fabric. So this is sort of a hybrid shape. This is a veil that I made, and it's longer, and the curve is more gradual throughout the entire length of the rectangle. So this is a really great shape to have fly through the air. This might be my favorite shape. So this is one I actually made, and this fabric is shiny on both sides. And when I made it, I put a tiny casing with very, very thin rat tail cord through the top straight edge of this veil. And what that does is it enables me to easily feel the edge of the veil. This is really important when you're doing double veil because you often have only one hand on each veil, and you really need to feel where that edge is so that you can hold on to it. And the other thing is, when you're doing double veil, you might have two veils in one hand, and you're getting ready to separate the two pieces of fabric, one from the other, and you need to be able to feel that because you're going to do it with your fingers without looking. So you feeling it, having an edge that's easy to feel is very, very beneficial in veils that you're going to use for double veil. So that is actually why this style of veil is really great, because they have this metallic edge all the way around, and it's very easy to feel. I didn't have to do anything to make this edge work for me. So we've talked about shape, and we've talked about the edges. Another thing is whether to choose matching color veils or contrast color veils. I have both. These ones, I have two red ones, I have two light purple ones, and the magic of that is that when you're using them together, and then all of a sudden you open them apart, it's a big surprise, and it's really kind of magical for the audience to realize, oh, she has two of them. I thought she only had one. So that's a fun thing about that. These are also matching in size and shape with either contrasting color, orange and purple, and then I have gold and silver. So the contrast is just interesting for the contrast. So you just, you choose what feels good, what suits your music, what matches your costume, and what matches the mood of the music that you want to be dancing to. So something very important about when you are using double veil is the fabric of each veil needs to be the same weight and basically the same type of fabric, and your fabric should be the same size and shape, so that they'll match up when you have the two of them together, and if you want to manipulate them together, they will flow as one. And then you also want this fabric to easily slide apart. So any fabric that has a little bit of a nub will tend to stick to itself. You'll have harder time sliding those veils apart, or it'll get stuck on you. So have fun with your double veil, and I hope this was helpful. See you in another video.